this guy, right, is upset because I sent his girlfriend text messages of him begging me, saying he was gonna take away his life, begging me, saying he's gonna take away my life, all that. He was mad. He's mad about that. Mind you, this man sent text messages to somebody that I was dealing with me, of me and him having sex. That's the type of shit I've been dealing with for the past 2 months. Every time he knows that I go out of town, he harasses me.
An Instagram model with the username Jordy N. Gore has shared a series of alleged text messages from Offset, and in doing so claims that the Migos rapper trying to set up Cardi B's new boyfriend, Stefon Diggs. The alleged texts show Offset trying to get in contact with the model, who writes in the caption, "Violating me and state in my phone asking me to help set up Stefon Diggs, laughing emoji, please, super tender." I honestly feel like this is actually on brand for Offset.
Offset just dropped a bomb. He actually admitted to plotting on Cardi B and Stefon Diggs' relationship. Sounds wild, right? Word is, he's been hung up on Cardi for over a year, moving real sneaky behind the scenes. Now that Cardi and Diggs are reportedly done after that messy Super Bowl drama, Offset might have finally gotten exactly what he wanted. But here's the question, is this his shot to slide back into Cardi's arms? Let's talk about how Offset fumbled the biggest bag of his life. You can't understand the mess he's in now without seeing what he used to have and how he straight up let it fall apart. Back in February 2017, Offset met Cardi B at the Super Bowl in Houston, and that moment changed everything. That was the spark, the jump off, the start of something major. They linked up on a track called Lick, and once it dropped, fans lost their minds. Every comment section was lit with dating rumors. And by September that same year, it was official. The two tied the knot right in their own Atlanta bedroom. What a wild love story that was. No ice, no gown, no fancy guest list, just the two of them locking it down in total secrecy. Cardi kept that whole marriage under wraps until June 2018, when she had no choice but to drop the receipts and silence the cheating rumors flying all over the internet. Offset had already done a big public proposal during a Philly show back in October 2017. But truth be told, that was all for show. They were already husband and wife by then, but the drama didn't wait long to kick in. By December 2017, clips started leaking online, Offset getting real cozy with other women, plus some wild alleged messages floating around everywhere. Cardi didn't stay quiet either. She hit social media saying she'd handle it in her own time. She wasn't about to let the world make her choices for her. Then came their baby girl, Culture, in July 2018. And for a short while, it felt like peace had finally settled in. The family looked tight, the love looked real, but that calm didn't last long. By December 2018, Cardi jumped on Instagram and dropped the bomb. She and Offset were done. She said they just grew out of love, but everyone in the culture knew what really went down. Offset's wandering ways tore it all apart. The fairy tale had officially crumpled. What followed was a full-on rinse and repeat saga that dragged on for years. Offset just couldn't let go. He even crashed Cardi's Rollin' Loud performance, holding up a giant "Take Me Back" sign in front of thousands, cameras flashing everywhere. It was pure chaos. Cardi shut him down right there on stage in front of the whole world. No hesitation, no mercy. But fast forward to February 2019, and somehow after every apology in the book and countless "I've changed" promises, they were back together like nothing ever happened. They popped out at the Grammys, smiling and glowing, acting like the past was just a rumor. Cardi told everyone it was about therapy, growth, and working on themselves, trying to make it sound like a fresh start. Then came September 2020. Boom! Cardi filed for divorce in Atlanta, saying the marriage was irretrievably broken and asking for primary custody of Culture. More cheating rumors had dropped, and Cardi looked completely done this time, fed up with all the drama and lies.
Now, Cardi, your ex-wife, or I don't even know if divorce is final, but I know she filed for divorce in 2024. Where do y'all stand now?
I mean,
Is it finalized, a divorce?
not yet.
Okay, so it's not finalized.
Going through it.
Do you want it to be finalized?
I'm ready to be over it, for it to be over with.
Really?
Just so, like, just for both of us, like, I feel like that be a louder story than what we really love to do, which is music and art. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying that, not like.
But just when people thought it was over for good, October rolled around, Cardi's birthday, and they were spotted kissing like nothing ever happened. By November, she pulled back the divorce papers, saying they worked things out just by talking it through. Wild, right? Then, in September 2021, their baby boy, Wave, arrived, and for a while, it really seemed like the family was locked in again. The energy was up, the love looked strong, but everyone knew with them, peace never lasted long. By December 2023, Cardi had finally had enough. She hopped on Instagram Live and spilled it all for the world to hear. She said she'd been single for a while and was completely drained from all the drama and toxicity. You could feel the exhaustion in her voice. Then, when New Year's Eve rolled around, she and Offset hung out, but she made it clear, crystal clear, that it was strictly friend vibes. No romance, no funny business, just co-parents trying to keep the peace. Then, July 2024 hit, and boom, Cardi went right back to the courthouse, filing for divorce again. This time, she was asking for primary custody and child support. No more chances, no more pretending things could magically fix themselves. But the next day, she dropped a shocking twist. She was expecting their third baby, Blossom, who arrived that September. This time around, Offset stayed quiet. No big public gestures, no surprise stage appearances, no desperate take-me-back moments, just silence. The pattern was painfully clear by now. Every single breakup could be traced back to the same issue, Offset's non-stop cheating, the same cycle that had been running since 2017 without a single pause. Cardi later opened up about how deep the damage really went, saying the infidelity wasn't just emotional heartbreak, it actually took a toll on her body while she was pregnant. She'd given him a second chance in 2019, a third in 2020, tried therapy, tried talking it out, but every single time, the same heartbreak came spinning right back around like a curse she couldn't escape. By the end of 2024, Cardi was done running that same tired playbook. She wasn't waiting around for apologies or empty promises. She stepped out with someone new, and not just anyone. She started popping up in public with a man from a completely different world. That's where the next wild chapter of this story kicks in, and where Offset's own actions start exposing him way more than his words ever could. When Cardi started showing up alongside NFL star Stefon Diggs, everything shifted. The second she was spotted with him in the fall of 2024, the entire narrative around her divorce flipped upside down. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was a power move, a woman walking away from the chaos, standing tall, and living her best life with her head high and her confidence louder than ever. Meanwhile, Offset couldn't hide his feelings. His attitude started giving him away fast. The man was clearly pressed, watching it all unfold from the sidelines while trying to act unbothered. But fans could see right through it. Cardi and Diggs first turned heads when they were seen together at a Knicks game in November 2024, and that sighting lit social media on fire. At first, Offset kept quiet, probably hoping it would blow over. The divorce papers were still fresh, emotions were raw, and maybe he thought this was just a little rebound that would fade away on its own. But surprise, it didn't fade at all. The vibe between Cardi and Diggs grew, and everyone could tell this wasn't some quick fling. This was something real, and Offset knew it. By February 2025, Cardi and Diggs had the streets buzzing. They turned things up heavy with a flashy Valentine's Day date down in Miami. All eyes were on them. Not long after, they were spotted hitting clubs in New York looking real close. When pregnancy rumors started flying all over the internet, Cardi jumped on Instagram Live and shut it down fast, calling the talk crazy and telling people to stop making things up. Meanwhile, Offset was trying hard to play it cool, biting his tongue, staying silent, pretending to be unbothered, but that patience had an expiration date stamped all over it, and by April 2025, it completely ran out. There was no denying the situation anymore. Cardi and Diggs were outside. She was seen getting cozy with him at Coachella, and then boom, clips started flooding timelines, showing her giving Diggs a full-on lap dance at a New York club after a Vibes Cartel concert. That footage went everywhere. Your timeline, your For You page, your group chat, even your mama's phone couldn't escape it. Cardi even captioned the night, "What a night. Started well, ended better." That line alone had the internet in flames, and Offset, he definitely felt that heat. When a fan slid into his comments clowning him for punching the air, Offset tried to keep his cool and replied, "I'm happy for her." On the surface, it looked smooth, like a man staying classy, being mature, acting unbothered. But those double exclamation marks, the quick reply, and everything that followed after, yeah, that told a whole different story. That moment told everything. Offset wasn't calm. He was clenching his jaw so tight you could almost hear the frustration through the screen. That wasn't a man at peace. That was a man trying hard to hide the sting. Meanwhile, Diggs decided to speak up too. He hopped on Instagram Live and admitted he was not single. But notice this, he carefully kept Cardi's name out of his mouth, letting people read between the lines while still keeping it respectful. Then, May 2025 rolled around and Offset's whole "I'm good" act completely fell apart. He pulled up to the Joe Budden podcast and started talking reckless, going on record with a statement that had everybody's jaw on the floor. He said, "My truth, I ain't never met no one that I left went up, so I don't have that experience. I don't know. I'm Jimmo Jones, so every situation I ever seen go on, it didn't work out. It's like the unseasoned version." He never said Cardi's real name. He never mentioned Diggs. He didn't have to. The entire internet instantly connected the dots before he even finished his sentence. Within hours, unseasoned version turned into a viral catchphrase. Fans were breaking it down on every blog, podcast, and gossip page from Shade Room to World Star. People said Offset was calling Stefon Diggs a downgrade. He was basically painting himself as the standard, the original flavor, the man no one could replace. And the way he said it, with that smug confidence, made it clear he believed it too. He dropped that line on one of the biggest hip-hop platforms out there, making sure the whole world heard it. And yeah, the shade was undeniable.
Nothing towards her. It's like it blinds the people to what we are to the people, which is our artists. It blinds them because
While I thought it was a part of this, because sometimes performance art can go far. So I didn't know if it was like a lead up to the 2 albums and we was going to get a gag or what. You don't know what is real life anymore because a lot of times people be doing reality shows into the music marketing. So I wasn't sure.
No, I'm a player. I would never do that. I would never play with my personal life to make a hit.
Offset knew exactly what he was doing. And he also knew that every blog, every gossip page, every outlet was going to clip that interview before the hour was even up. The reaction came fast and it was loud. Within minutes, social media lit up. DJ Academics jumped on X, saying Offset was losing the public perception battle because Cardi had leveled up with a pro athlete and that Offset was looking real stressed about it all. The fan base instantly split in two. Some people were cheering Offset on, calling his confidence unmatched, giving him props for standing 10 toes down and keeping his swagger intact, but others weren't having it. They called it straight up corny that a man whose cheating had been exposed for years across multiple women, multiple scandals, was now acting like he was the prize. The same man who caused the heartbreak was suddenly claiming to be the upgrade. The hypocrisy had people clowning him all over the internet. Then came June 2025, and that's when things got wild for real. Cardi and Diggs made it official. They hard launched their relationship on Instagram, smiling, glowing, and showing the world they were all in. And here's the kicker, the divorce still wasn't even finalized yet. While Cardi was posting her new man for millions to see, Offset was in court purportedly requesting spousal support from her. Just picture that for a second. Asking your soon-to-be ex-wife for a check while she's out here living her best life with a superstar athlete. The internet didn't let that slide for a minute. Memes, posts, and jokes were everywhere. It was pure chaos, and Offset was right at the center of it. No matter how you sliced it, that situation was rough. Offset looked bad from every angle, and his next moves didn't make things any better. He couldn't keep quiet. He jumped on X, threw some shade aimed directly at Cardi and Diggs, then deleted it just minutes later. But that delete, that was the giveaway. That was the sign of a man who couldn't hold it in, but knew deep down that popping off online was only making him look worse. Diggs caught wind of it, of course, and he fired back with a subtle clapback, though the exact details never made it to the reports. Still, everybody knew shots were fired. Offset wasn't done either. He slid over to TikTok, clearly frustrated, and started airing out his feelings about the whole messy situation. You could tell he was struggling watching Cardi and Diggs glow up in public while his own image kept taking hits. But then, by August 2025, the vibe shifted completely. Offset sat down with Ebro for real talk, and for the first time, he dropped all the ego and the subliminals. He came right out and said it plain. He messed up. He admitted that he was the reason things fell apart with Cardi, taking full responsibility for the collapse of their marriage. No comparisons, no slick talk, no Jimmo Jones bars, just raw honesty from a man who finally realized what he lost. Still, even that heartfelt moment hit different because while Offset was owning his mistakes, Cardi was out there flourishing. Her life with Diggs was glowing, her career was thriving, and it almost made his confession sound like too late, too little. That so-called accountability moment didn't exactly hit the way Offset probably hoped it would. To a lot of people, it didn't sound like real growth. It sounded like the kind of regret that only shows up when you see someone else living the life you threw away. Fans started asking the real question. Was Offset truly sorry because he'd done the work and faced himself? Or was he only sorry because watching Cardi thrive with another man was forcing him to confront what he'd fumbled so badly? That question started echoing louder and louder, and then Offset decided to step back into the booth. That's when everything changed. If his deleted tweets and podcast interviews were just a warm-up, his music was the main event. Once he started spitting bars, the truth came spilling out between every line. It was like he couldn't hide it anymore. The pain, the jealousy, the heartbreak, it all poured out in real time. Then came Halloween night, October 31st, 2025, and Offset shook the internet with a surprise album drop called Haunted by Fame. Even the title alone hit heavy, carrying that mix of ego, regret, and reflection all in one. The rollout was eerie, mysterious, and full of tension. Everyone knew this wasn't just another project. This was Offset bleeding on the mic, using music to confess what words couldn't. And once people pressed play, it became crystal clear where his mind and his heart still were when it came to Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. This was a man haunted, not by some abstract idea, but by the very fame that built him up and then tore him right back down. Offset made it clear the same spotlight that gave him everything had also taken everything he cared about. But the track that really blew the internet apart was No Sweat. That song turned the whole album from a regular music drop into a chapter of the never-ending Cardi, Offset, Diggs saga. The lyrics? Sharp, petty, painfully specific. Every bar felt surgical, like Offset was aiming straight at two people and didn't miss once. The line that had everyone's jaw dropping was, "How the F you leave Jordan for Rodman?" That one bar alone flipped the internet upside down. In one slick metaphor, Offset compared himself to Michael Jordan, the GOAT, the franchise, the man who changed the whole game, while putting Stefon Diggs in the Dennis Rodman role. Flashy, talented, but always the supporting act, never the main show. There was no need to decode it, no hidden message. Offset said exactly what he meant. He wasn't just acknowledging that Cardi had moved on, he was flat out saying she had downgraded. Through a professionally mixed, mastered, and publicly released record, he made his point crystal clear. In his eyes, Stefon Diggs couldn't touch him. The metaphor hit like a punch. Arrogant, dramatic, and totally deliberate. Offset didn't just drop a diss, he dropped a statement that echoed through hip-hop, sports blogs, and fan pages everywhere. Offset didn't just drop one slick jab, he turned the whole track into a public scoreboard. That Jordan for Rodman line made it sound like Cardi traded the franchise cornerstone for a bench player, a move that made no sense to anybody keeping score. But that wasn't even the most cutting part of the song, not by a long shot. Another lyric hit way deeper, way more personal. When Offset rapped, "How you married and still giving birth?" the whole internet froze for a second. That bar shined a brutal spotlight on the fact that Cardi was pregnant with Diggs' baby while still legally married to Offset. It wasn't just rap bravado or locker room trash talk anymore. This was real-life pain spilling out over a beat. The lyric hit like a confession disguised as a diss. Offset wasn't just rapping, he was bleeding. That bar carried layers of hurt, jealousy, and bitterness all twisted together. A man trying to sound unbothered while clearly being eaten alive inside. You could hear it in every syllable. Through that verse, Offset was letting the world and Cardi know exactly what haunted him, the timeline, The fact that her new love story started before their old one was even officially over. The overlap between the end of their marriage and the beginning of her new chapter with Diggs was something he just couldn't stomach quietly. No matter how many times he told the press he was straight, this track told the truth. Offset was not okay. The song exposed everything he'd been trying to hide behind smooth interviews and fake smiles. Cardi welcomed a baby boy into the world in November 2025, reportedly fathered by Stefan Diggs, marking baby number 4 for her, 3 with Offset, and now 1 with the new man. The timing made everything even heavier. The conception reportedly happened right in the middle of her divorce from Offset, a split that still wasn't legally finalized at the time. For Offset, that had to sting deep. He built a whole family tree with Cardi, Culture, Wave, and Blossom. And now, watching another man add a branch to that same tree must have hit like a gut punch. That wasn't the kind of pain a podcast rant or an Instagram caption could cover up. It was final, like the chapter of their life together had slammed shut for good. The family he helped build was still growing, just in a direction that didn't include him anymore. That's a whole different kind of heartbreak, the kind that echoes in your chest no matter how many songs you record or how tough you try to sound. When Haunted by Fame dropped, especially the track No Sweat, fans went crazy. Social media exploded with debates. On X, people were breaking down the Jordan for Rodman line like it was a real barbershop sports argument. Some fans gave Offset his props for the clever wordplay and the bold delivery, calling the bar an undeniable banger, even if the metaphor didn't totally hold up under a microscope. But others weren't buying the act at all. They said it was wild, beyond wild, for a man with years of cheating receipts, scandals, and leaked clips under his name now to be crowning himself as the premium option. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Offset's confidence looked less like swagger and more like someone trying hard to rewrite history while the internet watched, receipts in hand. Calling himself the Jordan in any lineup was bold, especially when his own behavior was the exact reason the woman he keeps rapping about left him behind. Fans weren't letting that slide. One user on X summed it up perfectly, saying Offset wasn't really making a love confession, he was spinning the block out of revenge. They read the whole Jordan for Rodman situation as less about reflection and more about bruised ego, a man trying to reclaim control of a story that slipped out of his hands.
But here's where things got deeper and way more significant. The Haunted by Fame album ended up doing something bigger than just delivering catchy punchlines. It turned every ounce of Offset's pain, jealousy, and frustration about Cardi and Diggs into something permanent, a public time capsule welded into a commercial body of work that can't be undone. See, a deleted tweet? That disappears in seconds. Just a late-night impulse you can pretend never happened. A podcast soundbite? You can walk it back, reframe it in the next interview, spin it however you want. But an album track? That's forever. It's searchable, replayable, quotable, carved into streaming platforms for eternity. By lacing all that bitterness and wounded pride into No Sweat, Offset guaranteed his reaction to Cardi's new relationship would live right alongside his music. He didn't just vent, he archived his emotions in 4K audio. Now, every time that song plays, it's not just a track, it's a timestamp, a record of the moment Offset couldn't hide his heartbreak anymore. For anyone willing to dig it up, it was crystal clear. That wasn't the move of a man who's moved on. That was the move of a man desperate to make sure his version of the story stayed in the history books. Offset wanted the permanent record to show one thing, that he was the better option, the original, the one who got replaced by what he saw as a knockoff. And he wanted Stefan Diggs to feel that message, loud, sharp, and with zero confusion. What made it even wilder was the timing. When Haunted by Fame dropped, Cardi was visibly pregnant with Diggs' baby, and the divorce was still tangled up in the courts with no final ruling in sight. Just 2 months earlier, Offset had been sitting across from Ebro, admitting to the world that he'd thrown away something real, taking full blame for the collapse of his marriage. But then came the contradiction. Instead of keeping that same energy of accountability, he jumped on wax and went full attack mode. No olive branches, no peace talk, just lyrical missiles aimed at Cardi and Diggs. It wasn't healing, it was scorekeeping. He wasn't taking responsibility anymore, he was trying to rack up points on a scoreboard only he could see. The result was messy but telling. The album exposed the civil war raging inside him. You could hear it between every bar. A man who knew he was wrong, but still couldn't shake off the feeling that he'd been wrong too. It was pride battling guilt, heartbreak battling ego, and all of it blasting through the speakers for the whole world to dissect. Offset was living in contradiction. A man who could admit he fumbled the bag in one breath, then turn around and drop an entire album bragging that the bag was never really that good without him. That tug of war inside his head wasn't staying quiet anymore. It was boiling over, and it was about to explode on the biggest, loudest, and most unpredictable stage in American sports. Nobody was ready for what came next. The Offset, Cardi, and Diggs love triangle had been simmering for over a year, a slow burn built on podcast jabs, cryptic Instagram posts, and diss tracks to have fans dissecting every lyric like detectives. But by February 2026, that slow burn turned into a full-on blaze at Super Bowl LX. This was the weekend the entire saga caught fire, messy, chaotic, and made for the tabloids. The game itself, the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks, with Stefon Diggs rocking the Patriots jersey under the brightest lights in sports. But when the final whistle blew, it wasn't the score that had people talking. Sure, the Pats took a nasty 29-13 loss, but that was nothing compared to what went down off the field. Because while millions were tuned in for football, everyone who'd been following this saga knew the real drama wasn't on the turf, it was happening behind the scenes. That weekend turned into a full-blown meltdown, the moment where love, pride, and pettiness all collided in front of the entire world. The headlines didn't care about stats or touchdowns. The only scoreboard that mattered was the one tracking Offset, Cardi B, and Stefon Diggs, and it was about to explode. Super Bowl weekend had social media in absolute chaos. Everyone's timeline was lit up with the wildest twist yet. Stefon Diggs got spotted with a woman named Pre, who multiple outlets claimed was none other than Offset's alleged former side fling. The sighting wasn't rumor, it was on video, and in the clip you could reportedly hear Pre telling Diggs, "I love you." Let that sink in for a second. That one line sent the internet into meltdown mode. Cardi B's new man caught in public with her estranged husband's rumored old fling? That's next level messy, the kind of scandal that feels too wild even for reality TV. The overlaps were insane, the connections tangled up in every direction, like the whole story had been written for drama. Fans were losing it, trying to keep track of who was connected to who, and it just kept getting worse by the minute. The fallout hit instantly. Within hours, Cardi and Diggs unfollowed each other on Instagram, the digital version of slamming the door shut. To make it even more dramatic, Cardi had just rocked the Super Bowl halftime stage alongside Bad Bunny, then reportedly dipped from the stadium early. And when ESPN caught up with her after the game and asked about Diggs, she didn't dodge. She hit them with two words colder than ice: good luck. That was it. No explanation, no elaboration, just a mic drop moment. By the end of the night, Cardi had wiped every trace of Diggs from her social media like he never existed. One minute, they were the power couple everyone was watching. The next, it looked like the whole thing had gone up in flames right in front of millions. And just when it felt like things couldn't possibly get messier, they did. Out of nowhere, unverified reports started dropping, claiming that Diggs had snuck another woman into his hotel room right after the Super Bowl. No one could tell if it was fact or fiction, but the damage was instant. That rumor hit the internet like a flamethrower, pouring even more gasoline on a fire that was already spinning completely out of control.
Or make me have a moment in music. Nah, it's real. It's real life, man. It's real life. It's a hard thing to do.
So I'm sorry to hear that. And is there anything that you wish you would have done differently, or that you regret, or that you know?
I should respect her that way. You know what I mean? I made bad decisions as a man, like stepping out. Like, gotta take that on the chin. Like,
By February 9th, Entertainment Tonight stepped in with confirmation. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs were officially done. A source close to the couple said they'd recently broken up, but tried to soften it by saying it might just be for right now, while Cardi focused on her family. But come on, that "for right now" line was nothing but PR fluff. The way everything looked in public told the real story loud and clear. This wasn't some calm, let's take a break situation. This was a public implosion. The relationship crumbled under a perfect storm of cheating rumors, humiliation, bad timing, and emotional chaos that played out for the entire world to see. It didn't just fall apart, it erupted. Every piece of it looked choreographed by drama itself. And then came Offset. Oh, he couldn't resist. Right after the breakup news hit, he posted a cryptic line on his Instagram story. Just 3 words: "Who won now?" Fans instantly decoded it as a direct jab at the situation, a straight-up taunt aimed right at Cardi and Diggs. He didn't even try to hide the smug energy. Offset was clearly loving the reversal, gloating like the internet hadn't spent over a year clowning him as the bitter ex, the jealous one who couldn't move on, the serial cheater who lost the baddest woman in the game. Now, in his eyes, the tables had turned, and he wanted everybody to know it. Now, Offset was sitting front row to the meltdown he'd been throwing shade at for over a year, watching it all blow up in the most public, messy, and humiliating way imaginable. And from the looks of it, he was loving every second. Word hit the blogs that he was spotted out right after the breakup news dropped, posted up in a club line, grinning like he just hit the Powerball. Cameras caught him cheesing from ear to ear, looking way too satisfied for a man who just lost $1 million. Yeah, reports on X said Offset had bet big on the 49ers and dropped a whole $1 million on a bad call, but he didn't care one bit. The story went that once the breakup headlines hit his phone, his whole mood flipped. Suddenly, losing that money didn't sting at all. That kind of reaction told you everything. Offset wasn't worried about his wallet, he was celebrating karma. The irony of the whole weekend couldn't have been thicker if you poured it out of a jar. Offset, the same dude whose own cheating wrecked his marriage, who got roasted online for being obsessed with Cardi's new man, who dropped entire songs bragging he was the superior option, was now watching Cardi's new relationship crash over the exact same issue: cheating again. And not just any cheating, rumors tying Diggs to Offset's alleged old side piece. The full circle drama was so wild it almost didn't seem real. The internet was made for this kind of story, and it went absolutely feral. Memes, reaction threads, and side-by-side timelines were flooding every feed. Offset didn't even have to say much. His smile said it all. The man who'd once been the villain was now watching karma spin the block and do his work for him, and the internet ate it up like a soap opera finale. After the chaos hit full speed, Diggs tried to regain control, or at least looked like he was. He resurfaced on Instagram with a string of cryptic posts, dropping quotes like, "Gratitude and fear cannot coexist. Control what you can control." Real polished, real composed. But then he turned off his comments on every post, and that move said it all. It looked like a man trying hard to project peace while the whole world around him was burning to the ground. Meanwhile, Cardi's reaction was the total opposite: raw, emotional, and painfully real. On February 11th, during opening night of her Little Miss drama tour out in California, she broke down right there on stage. You could see the emotion hit her mid-speech as she told the crowd, "I don't want to get emotional. Don't let nobody take your happiness away from you." The words were simple, but the message cut deep. She never mentioned Diggs, she never said Offset's name, but she didn't have to. The timing told everything. This was a woman standing in front of thousands, trying to keep it together while her whole world was spinning. Fans could feel it in their bones. This wasn't just a performance, it was a heartbreak unfolding live on stage.
And just think about what she was dealing with all at once. The father of 3 of her kids posting shady who won now taunts online, the father of her newborn son caught on camera with another woman, and the internet dissecting her every move like it was breaking news. In the middle of the unfollows, the cryptic posts, and the emotional onstage moment, Cardi stood there, teary-eyed but unbroken, trying to hold on to her happiness while the chaos swirled all around her. Then came the twist that made the entire internet lose its mind. Cardi B followed Offset back on Instagram. In celebrity world, that tiny blue follow button carries serious weight. It doesn't officially confirm anything, but it speaks volumes. A refollow after a breakup isn't casual. It's a signal. It's the digital version of cracking open a locked door. Not an invite inside, but a hint that the deadbolt's been loosened. Nobody had stepped through that door yet, but the vibe shifted instantly. The cold silence between them started to melt, and fans noticed immediately. So did Offset. Suddenly, the question that had been circling for months came roaring back. Was Offset actually getting another shot? When you trace back everything that's gone down since December 2023, the divorce filings, Cardi's roller coaster run with Diggs, Offset's year-long shady lyrics, deleted tweets, and podcast ego trips, plus that wild tabloid-worthy Super Bowl weekend, it all leads to one final question that's got everybody on edge. Can Offset really get Cardi B back? If there's any argument that says yes, it starts with their history. These two have a pattern. No matter how explosive the fallout, somehow they always find their way back to each other. It's like a storm that keeps resetting itself. After the 2018 breakup, they were back together within months. After the 2020 divorce filing, same story. Back on again before the ink even dried.
So yeah, history shows they've made a habit of rewriting their ending. But this time, the stakes are higher, the wounds deeper, and the world's watching closer than ever. The follow might have been small, but it lit the internet up like a flare. Maybe, just maybe, the doors cracked open again. Cardi pulled those divorce papers within weeks, another chapter in a pattern that's now practically their trademark. The cycle's clear as day. Cardi walks away, Offset chases, and somehow, some way, the pull between them drags them right back into each other's orbit again. It's like gravity. No matter how far they drift, something always reels them in. They've got 3 kids together, Culture, Wave, and Blossom, and by all accounts, the co-parenting has stayed surprisingly solid. Even while the legal process drags on, they've managed to keep things civil and functional. And that shared foundation, that bond through family, has always been the invisible hand pulling them back in. Every single time they try to cut the cord, that connection tied to their kids keeps them linked. But this time, with the Diggs collapse, there's a whole new emotional layer in the mix. Reports started flying around X that Cardi had actually reached out to Offset right after the Super Bowl chaos. Not through a rep, not through lawyers, but directly. The word was she wanted to sit down, talk, and fix things for the sake of the kids. Nobody confirmed the details, whether it was about co-parenting logistics, leftover feelings, or something that sat somewhere in between, but the timing said everything. The fact that she allegedly hit Offset up right as her situation with Diggs was going down in flames spoke volumes. It showed that no matter how messy things have gotten, there's still a tether between them. Even if it's not romantic, it's there. It's built from shared history, parenthood, and a level of familiarity that's hard to erase no matter what either of them says in interviews or lyrics. And the public, they're starting to shift too. After the Super Bowl, timelines were flooded with debates about whether Cardi and Offset should just call it a wrap on the drama and reunite for real this time. If not for love, then for stability. People were breaking down every move, every follow, every quote like it was evidence in a case file. Facebook posts about Cardi's refollow of Offset were racking up thousands of reactions, shares, and comments. Fans calling it everything from a possible olive branch to a spark of curiosity, or at least proof that the bridge between them hadn't been burned completely to ash. The streets were talking. And for the first time in a long time, the conversation wasn't about betrayal, it was about possibility. The idea that Offset finally got the last laugh started picking up major traction, especially among the folks who'd spent the past year watching him take L after L, painted as the bitter, washed-up ex who just couldn't move on.
Now, with Diggs catching scandal after scandal and Cardi's love life back in headlines, Offset supporters were spinning the narrative like he'd somehow won the long game. But hold up, the argument against a reunion hits just as hard, maybe even harder, because if you've been listening to Cardi all these years, she's made one thing crystal clear. She's done with that cycle. No confusion, no mixed messages. She's said it everywhere, on interviews, lives, and award show stages alike. Cardi has repeatedly drawn the line, saying she's not going back to the same pain she barely crawled out of. She's opened up about the toll Offset's infidelity took on her, not just emotionally, but physically. She said straight up that it wrecked her body, drained her spirit, and left scars that went far deeper than public embarrassment ever could. Cardi even admitted she regrets staying as long as she did, trying to make a situation work that was breaking it down piece by piece. And back in February 2025, when she first started stepping out publicly with Stefon Diggs, she told everyone she was tired. Not just tired of the drama or the rumors, tired of the entire relationship itself. She hinted that the issues with Offset went way beyond cheating, that it was deeper, tangled in ways that no apology or flashy gesture could ever fix. So while fans online might be hyped about the idea of them finding their way back, Cardi's own words say otherwise. And when you look at how Offset's been moving through all this, the interviews, the diss bars, that smug online behavior, it's hard not to wonder if he's truly changed or just enjoying the spotlight that heartbreak keeps handing him. If Offset was really ready for a genuine reconciliation, you'd expect to see a man showing growth, moving different, proving he's changed, doing that quiet behind-the-scenes work that actually rebuilds trust. But that's not the energy he's been given at all. Instead of showing maturity, Offset spent the last 12 months doing the complete opposite. He dropped diss records, posted and deleted cryptic shade on social media, compared himself to Michael Jordan on a major podcast, and looked straight up pleased when Cardi's relationship with Diggs blew up in flames. His behavior around the whole Super Bowl fallout said it all. The mocking posts, the club appearances, that unmistakable smirk plastered across his face. It didn't scream growth or healing. It looked more like a man keeping score, celebrating a messy win instead of trying to rebuild anything real. Even that emotional sit-down he had with Ebro in August 2025, when he admitted his mistakes and took the blame, yeah, that moment should have been his redemption arc. But just 60 days later, he dropped a full album packed with shots aimed right at Cardi and Diggs. That move completely erased whatever progress fans thought he'd made. And then came his own dating drama, adding a whole new layer of chaos to the mix. At the end of 2024, Offset got linked to model Melanie Jada during a flashy New Year's trip to Dubai. Not long after, he was bragging online about being with more than 3 different women since leaving Cardi, even flexing with the line, "Lost the baddie last year, got another one and another one." Real subtle, right? Then February 2026 hit and the blogs dropped another bomb. Rumors claiming Offset was getting cozy with Sky Marlene, who, wait for it, was allegedly Stefon Diggs' ex-girlfriend. That revelation had people losing their minds online. It made it look like every move Offset was making post-split was fueled by pettiness, not healing. Instead of rising above the mess, it seemed like he was doubling down, playing chess with people's hearts and trying to get his lick back. And with each new headline, Offset looked less like a man preparing for reconciliation and more like someone still addicted to the chaos that wrecked his marriage in the first place. At this point, everything between these three had turned into a straight-up tit-for-tat. Pure retaliation, not romance. The symmetry was wild. Diggs was spotted with Offset's alleged ex, and now Offset was reportedly linking up with Diggs' ex. The whole thing had morphed into a messy chess match, only the pieces were real people, and the game board was everybody's Instagram feed. By mid-February 2026, sources speaking to Entertainment Tonight tried to keep things diplomatic, saying the Cardi and Diggs split could just be for right now, hinting at the chance of a future reconciliation before Offset even gets a real window to shoot a shot. But honestly, the odds didn't look good for him. Even if Diggs was completely out of the picture, Cardi's energy seemed locked in elsewhere, on a Little Miss Drama tour, her 4 kids,
and on emotionally piecing herself back together after a roller coaster year that played out in public for the whole world to judge. Cardi's priorities were clear: healing, stability, and peace. Not circling back to a marriage she's already tried to leave twice. Each attempt to fix things with Offset ended in the same heartbreak cycle. And this time, she looked determined to break it for good. Fans could see the shift. The glow-up wasn't about revenge or rebounds anymore. It was about reclaiming herself. Even the media was picking up on it. An op-ed from Madam Noah put it perfectly, saying that while a quick Cardi and Diggs reunion wasn't off the table entirely, it would probably be temporary at best. But the piece also pointed out something way more telling. Cardi's focus on her own happiness, her kids, and her personal healing made any full-blown reconciliation with Offset a serious long shot. So while Offset might still be out here plotting, posting, and playing his next move, it looks like Cardi's already shifted to a whole different game, one where her piece is the prize, not the past. At best, that Madam Noah piece nailed the tension right on the head. Offset might still have a shot, but having a shot and actually scoring are two totally different ball games. The truth, though, it's impossible to deny that Offset has never really let Cardi B go. Not for a second, not even close. Every podcast appearance, every lyric he's penned, every cryptic tweet he's posted and deleted, every smug grin caught by cameras outside a nightclub, all of it paints the same picture. This is a man still tethered to a relationship he destroyed with his own two hands. A man standing on the outside, peeking into a life that used to be his, watching the woman he lost rebuild piece by piece, brick by brick, and wrestling with his own emotions the entire time. One moment he's taking accountability, admitting he messed up. The next, he's better and defensive, lashing out through bars and social media posts. It's a constant back and forth between remorse and resentment, depending on what day you catch him.
Super Bowl weekend didn't create that attachment, it just exposed it to the world. Under those blinding lights with millions of people watching, every bit of Offset's lingering feelings got magnified in 4K clarity. The performances, the drama, the breakups, the taunts, all of it collided in one explosive moment that left no doubt about where his heart still sits. But here's the twist that keeps this story spinning. Whether that attachment turns into a real reconciliation doesn't depend on Offset at all. It depends on Cardi. She's the one holding all the power now. And judging by her words, her actions, and her energy since that chaotic weekend, everything points to one clear conclusion. Cardi's focus isn't on revisiting the past anymore. It's on protecting her peace and building her future, with or without him. She might have cracked that door open just a sliver when she followed Offset back on the gram, but actually stepping through it, that would mean walking right back into the same storm she spent the last 2 years fighting her way out of. Cardi's clawing her way toward peace, toward stability, toward a life where her happiness isn't tied to chaos, and she knows better than anyone what's waiting on the other side of that door. Offset may still be holding on tight, still hoping for another shot, but at the end of the day, that shot is hers to give. And if history's taught Cardi anything, it's that every time she's given it, the outcome's been heartbreak on repeat. This time, she just might be choosing herself for good, and that could be the biggest plot twist of them all. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment with your thoughts below. And don't forget to click one of the videos on your screen right now for more wild celebrity breakdowns and drama recaps.